welcome to Schick Pick 6. It is episode 17. We're officially back. I'm Melanie Schickler, and we have a ton of football to get to as it kicked off Thursday night. But before we get to football, we have a feel-good story coming out of the MLB between the Marlins and the Pirates. The Marlins called up pitcher Brian Moran to make his MLB debut on the mound. Everything is fine and normal until he realized that the second batter he will ever face in his career is his brother, Colin Moran. These two haven't faced off against each other since wiffle ball in their backyard as young boys. So how did it play out? Take a look at the live call.
Brian Moran facing his brother Colin, the 3-2. And it's a called third strike. No mercy. Colin, who rarely says anything to the home plate umpire, says something on his way back to the dugout.
I got to put this on Colin. Colin decided that this at-bat was going to end as a strikeout or a walk. I mean, it's as simple as that. We talk about it all the time. 3-2 pitch. He didn't try to foul it off. He wasn't going to go down. He thought it was a ball, and a borderline pitch goes Moran's way.
Now that's special. Brian Moran's first strikeout ever in the league is against his own brother. Now this matchup in general is the first time since 1990 a player is facing his brother in a pitcher versus batter scenario in his MLB debut. A moment I'm sure both of them will never forget. On to pick number 5. Before the NFL season kicked off on Thursday night, of course there had to be contract drama. I'm talking about Jared Goff and Ezekiel Elliott signing big contract extensions. The Rams and Goff signed a 4-year, $134 million extension with $110 million guaranteed. And at 24 years old, we have to ask, is Goff deserving of this money? It seems he just may be, as ESPN reported that Goff took the fewest seasons to start a Super Bowl among quarterbacks taken number 1 overall in the NFL draft. So if Goff can take the Rams as far as he did last year in the postseason, he'll sure be deserving of that money. Another deal making headlines is Ezekiel Elliott's 6-year, $90 million contract extension with the Dallas Cowboys. He is now the highest paid running back based on guaranteed money, coming in with $50 million guaranteed on his contract. Now the Cowboys should finally be able to shift their focus to quarterback Dak Prescott and the contract extension that he deserves. Pick number 4 is Thursday night's football game to kick off the 2019-2020 season. It's the first time since '04 that the reigning Super Bowl champions have not kicked off the season. The NFL wanted to change things up this year and have the Packers play the Bears in celebration of their 100th season. Now, I can't say it was the most exciting game to watch considering the final score was only 10-3 Packers, but there were some big takeaways, that being the Packers defense and Bears quarterback Mitchell Trubisky. Many thought this year would be the turn in Trubisky's career, but it was the exact opposite on Thursday night. The Packers' defense repeatedly pressured him, giving him a limited backfield and little time to create plays. The Packers had 5 sacks, and Trubisky never got into a groove, which translated into only having a 57% completion rate for an average of only 5 yards per play. Even Coach Matt Nagy said, quote, 3 points is ridiculous, close quote. Can't say I disagree when they open their season on home turf. Now they have 3 extra days to recover before heading to Denver for their Sunday night game against the Broncos. Pick number 3 are the U.S. Open Finals. Let's start with the men. Rafael Nadal won his 19th major Grand Slam title and his 4th U.S. Open title. That's not unexpected. What was unexpected was how long the match took. 5 sets over 5 hours. Crazy. This was a great match, don't get me wrong, but the main story coming out of the U.S. Open is Serena Williams coming up short yet again for the 4th consecutive time in the championships since having her baby. She hasn't even been able to win a set off of her opponents in all 4 matches. She has consistently gotten off to a slow start, which sets the pace for the rest of the match. She played a 19-year-old Saturday who has never even been to a major final, and it seemed as if she was a veteran player. Not only that, Serena was losing to herself. She couldn't get her first serve in, and she had 33 unforced errors. That is not the vintage Serena we all know. Still stuck on 23 major titles, searching for the record-tying 24th. All numbers aside, congratulations to Bianca Andreescu. She is the first Canadian tennis player ever, male or female, to win a major Grand Slam title. I'm sure it won't be her last either. For pick number 2, let's head over to the major headlines from yesterday's football games, starting with Nick Foles' unfortunate injury in Week 1. He hurled a 35-yard touchdown pass and then was sandwiched between two Chiefs defensive linemen in the backfield. After leaving the field in the first quarter, the team later announced he has a broken left clavicle and underwent surgery today. The next big story is Deshaun Jackson's incredible return to Philly. In 2013, Andy Reid released him from the team, and now he's back to prove his talents. He had 2 touchdown receptions, both for over 50 yards. Not only that, he finished with 8 receptions for a total of 154 yards. He now has 31 career touchdowns of 50-plus yards, which ranks second in NFL history behind only Hall of Famer Jerry Rice. Our third and biggest story is the Cleveland Browns, except it's not for a good reason. They consumed all the offseason media with their new trades and new acquisitions, and in result they had all the offseason hype. But that didn't translate to the field as they lost 43-13 against the Tennessee Titans. Baker Mayfield threw 3 interceptions and the Browns committed 18 penalties. That just cannot happen. Only weeks will tell if the Browns will live up to their preseason hype. On to pick number 1. Can't forget about Antonio Brown. He is the biggest story of this week, 100%. First, he gets caught up in a helmet debacle in August. Then he gets fined just 3 days ago $54,000 because he missed practices. Then he posts on social media and gets into an argument with his general manager at practice in front of the entire team. Then the team says, we're suspending him. But then they change their mind and say, okay, he can play Monday night. But that all changed when they released him Saturday. And then, right after that, just a few hours later, he signed a 1-year deal for $15 million with the New England Patriots. Ridiculous how much has gone on in the past 3 days. He's regarded as one of the best wide receivers in the league and has helped his previous team, the Steelers, go far in the playoffs and win a Super Bowl years ago. And yes, don't get me wrong, he's a phenomenal receiver, but he won't be able to show his talents on the Pats if he can't stay out of the media. Honestly, I don't know if he'll fit in well on the Patriots considering all the drama that comes along with signing him. We'll have to see next week how things go against the Miami Dolphins. Thanks so much for tuning in to episode 17 of Schick Pick 6. We'll see you soon for episode 18.